join everything, and the 8 a.m.s with the Techno Gym are a little early on my
Yeah,
end.
okay.
Happening. Hey, I wanted to jump in just real quick because I'm actually at work. We are open doing massages, hair and nail services, and I just wanted to share that today my phone has rang off the hook. I have personally booked 24 appointments today and taken 52 phone calls.
Wow.
We just kind of flipped the switch on Monday to let people know that we're open. Just started getting some posts back out, so it's been a little bit of an effort getting it going, but the business is out there.
That's awesome. That's really encouraging to hear. Thanks for sharing, John.
You are very welcome, and in all reality, it's going to take a lot from all of us to continue forward in the next month, into the next year, actually, as well. And so thank you for the timing of this. While we can't be in person, I love the timing, so thank you very much for that. And wanted to just share because I know that I'm one of the few out there working, and a lot of people are very skeptical and concerned about what it looks like when we do get back. The business is there. It's going to take time, but it's there.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So are these folks, are they driving in? Is this a drive-in business?
So
more regional?
Yeah, so I'm located inside a hotel. We do have an exterior entrance because my hotel is not open yet.
Okay.
And so we really started, we opened on the 9th, on Saturday the 9th, really with hitting all of our fan favorite regulars on there. And really today it's been primarily all people that we knew as either real regular or semi-regular guests of ours. But right now the phone is ringing with a lot of appointments same day and between now and June 6th is really the big push that I'm getting. And it's everything. People are asking for it all. We're still pretty limited, and I'm looking at expanding services here shortly, but it's every department. Okay,
cool.
Awesome.
All right, well, cheers to you, man. You're making it happen.
Speaking of our workouts, Leslie's here. You want to say hi?
I see that. Leslie, people, where is she? Hi, Leslie. We're going to shout out to Leslie. She's a personal trainer from Techno Gym who has led us this week in these amazing workouts. Some folks before you hopped on, Leslie, were saying they wish they could have you every day. All right, let's get started.
Sorry, I just realized I could unmute myself. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. So we have 2 more days, so you still have a chance.
Okay, good. All right, guys, we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. Go to slideshow from the beginning. All right, so can everybody see my screen? We're good?
Yep, we're good.
Great. Why did it just go away? Share. Okay, so hi, I'm Joanna. Most of you know me. Today we're gonna do mind mapping, which is one of my most favorite ways to get down all parts of an idea or solve a problem or think about what I want my life to be like. I learned how to do this in 1999 when I was working at Canyon Ranch, and we had a woman who came in and trained a bunch of us on how to do this. And that's when I made my very first mind map. I've probably made, I don't know, 30 mind maps in all that time. And I still have the first mind map that I have, and I'll tell you a story about that sort of at the end, but we're gonna get started. So you should all have, why can I not? Megan, how do I advance the slide? Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. So let's see. One of the things about working with a mind map is it really allows you to integrate the left and right side of your brain. So this slide really shows the parts of us that are, and many of us are one side or the other dominant, right? You're either right side dominant or left side dominant. But when you're trying to solve a problem or plan for your future, you really want both sides of the brain to integrate. And you can look at this list and easily identify who you are, right? You know who you are, you know where your tendencies are. So a mind map is a way to engage both sides of your brain. All right, so there's 5 essential characteristics of a mind map, right? In the center of your page is your main idea, right? Or your problem, or your thing that you want to envision or manifest, right? So you crystallize it in sort of a central image. And then you branch out just like a tree. And then so you can then branch off the main branch and have little twigs. And I'm going to show you some examples. But one of the reasons why mind mapping is so powerful is because when you focus on this and the act of writing it down and developing the small habits, it allows you to make a map that will provide the context for making a change in your life or working towards something, right? So if I really simplified it, it's a cool way of making a list, but it becomes very interactive. And then there's some things you can do with your mind map that makes it even more powerful. So I'm sure many of you have heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza and this whole concept of, quantum physics, right? Where our life that we live actually happens outside of us. And we have the ability to create that life with our minds. So we're going to do that today. We're going to imagine the exact life that we want to manifest. Okay. And so there's no filter on this. You can imagine this any way you want. The bigger you think, the better, right? Because you're creating this intention, and then this intention is actually happening outside of you, and you're making the intention even more real because you're putting it down on paper. And then I'll actually show you what to do with the paper and how you can take it from here. Right. So now we're going to get into it. So this is a map that I made on my 50th birthday, right? So you can see that I chose 50 as the center point. And these are all the things that I wanted to do the year that I was 50. So I can tell you that almost half of these things I've already done, right? And back to the mind map that I made in 1999, almost everything on that mind map came true. So this is a way of creating a manifestation. Now I'll show you a different one. This is one that at a workshop, actually, this is one at a workshop I taught 3 years ago, and my original mind map is in the background and her map is in the front. And I'm showing you this so that you can see that this is a time to get playful and colorful and make this your own, because what you're going to do something with this map. You're going to hang it somewhere where you can see it every day, because that's what will help this become a reality. And then you'll learn some other techniques about how to use this in other contexts. So we're going to get started. We're going to do a life map. We're going to do 3 maps today. So what I want you to start with, and then we can have some interactive conversation, is a piece of paper. And what you're doing is sort of envisioning how you want your life to be. So I don't care if you call it your perfect life or your dream life, or you put your name in the center of the paper. You can make this as creative and interesting visually as you want. I tend to draw little pictures. I use a bunch of different colors. And then you're going to start to draw the branches out. And I just give some suggestions about some branches that you might like to include. Okay? So these are the areas of your life. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute and ask, because I can't see the chat while I'm doing this, Megan.
Yeah, I'll ask anything in the chat, but if someone has a question, feel free to unmute yourself. It might be easier.
Oh, now I see the chat. Yes. Any questions?
This right now, Joanna?
Yeah, we're going to take like a few minutes. So you should get this outline down on your paper right now. Because in our time together, I think we'll be able to make some progress on a couple of these. So I will keep talking, and I'll give you some inspiration in terms of what else you might want to put on there. So for example, if you are choosing to follow this model, right, under joy, you would put the things that you have in your life that bring you joy, or the things you want in your life that are going to bring you joy? Like, what is it that you want that will bring you joy? In terms of your family, right? Is it trips that you want to take? Is it that you want to have kids? Is it that you want to make up with your sister that you didn't talk to for the last 20 years? Like, what are the pieces of family that are going to make your life rewarding, enriching, fulfilling? Same thing with work. What if you hate your job, right? What if you love your job, but you want to do something different, right? What if you didn't finish your college degree and you want to go back to school? What if you want to change professions and become a writer? All of those things. Same thing on home, right? What if you want to buy a house? What if you want to have a new garden? What if you want to have a pool in your backyard? Right? So that is the idea of this. You are imagining the potential of these things that would come together to make your life better. What you want, what you envision. And don't have any limitations. Like yourself, what are the things that you know you need to do to take care of yourself? Is it reading? Is it yoga? Is it cooking? Like, what are the pieces? And then this is the way that you organize them. And then you can also branch little twigs off of that. So like a good example of that would be in the home piece. If you want a new kitchen, right, then cooking might be a twig off of the kitchen. And then relates, right? What does that mean to you? Do you have a life partner? Are you married? How is that fulfilling you? What things can you work on in that area that will enrich that? Now I'm going to go back one slide, or a couple of slides, so you can see some of what I did on my 50th year, just to give you some examples. Yeah, so like on where I put yoga and run, yeah, I didn't get into the New York City Marathon, but I did do the triathlon on Nantucket, right? So did it. I knew I wanted to. I imagined it. I wrote it down. On the art piece of it, yes, I've been taking ukulele lessons, and I try to take regular art classes, right? So now you're going to know sort of how individually crazy I am. And even on the adventure and travel piece, right? I didn't go to all those places, but I did go on a pilgrimage for my 50th birthday. I did go to Costa Rica. I am trying to learn how to surf, right? I do teach at the Graceline Institute. It is my dream to write a book. I've been working on it. So these are the ways that I've identified the things that I want to bring into my life. Right? You can see under work that I wrote planet and activist, right? Which are things that I am in this career that I have. Right, so now I'll go back. And you can see that Roz, who is one of the ladies who took one of my classes, she had a branch called spiritual. She had work. She got really into some detailed list making on her map. All right. Questions, comments?
Is the more detailed, the better?
Yeah, yes, because when you get detailed, that's when you're actually manifesting those things. And you can go back to this. And some of you, because I know that some of you are type A personalities, and I can confess to being that sometimes myself, you will redo this, right? This is going to be your scratch version. And later on today or tonight with a glass of wine, you will sit down and you will redo this on a different piece of paper because you'll have understood the context of this. I'm trying to get us a little music too. All right, questions, comments? All right, now we're gonna go ahead.
Can some of the sections have the same goals?
Yes, yes. And in a mind map, that's called a theme. And what that translates into is the second step of this, which is somewhat of a collage, right? So we'll get there.
Are these long or short-term goals, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. Like I would really say that on this perfect life piece, this is something that you want to do once a year. When I show you the other maps, you'll see that like I do them frequently. Because often what will happen is, I'll give an example, like even this event that we're doing, the virtual buyers event, I took a piece of paper and put that in the middle, virtual buyers event. And I figured out, I drew all the branches off and said, okay, what is this gonna look like? Who do I want to be there? How is this gonna work? How many people? How does the Zoom work? What kind of classes are we gonna have? And I got all of the thinking in my head down onto the piece of paper. And then it became really easy to do the planning because I had a map. And all of the right and left brain stuff was in one place.
Joanna, can I ask you a question? It's Melissa.
You can. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. If one of the areas relates to another area, is it necessary, in other words, in order to get one thing accomplished, you kind of have to do another to get that or want those things? Would you arrow them or would you just write it down?
You've totally got it. I arrow them.
Okay.
And sometimes I put them in the same color.
Oh, okay, which I can do later because I don't have color. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
What if you feel like you're spinning out of control?
In what way? Because you're thinking of too many things?
Right. Well, you're trying to accomplish too many things in too little time. You know,
Well,
you're trying to.
So there's no
time out.
Okay, so there's no real limit on the time because you can come back to this, right?
No,
but
I'm talking about life.
Oh, right. Oh, you've got a good another 50 years there, Donna.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Joanna, can you just explain what Melissa was saying about arrows for like double?
Sure. So say you have something in family and relationships that are related, right? I would just take, you can't see me pointing, I would just take an arrow and draw it between the two words that were connected.
Okay.
So let me see if I can go back. I don't know if I have any arrows on here. I don't. I've done others with arrows. I do it all the time. I could probably go find another. Okay. I don't really know what's happening there. Okay, so let's take a break on this one, and we're going to get another piece of paper, and we're going to go to the next one, okay? You will all appreciate this. This is what we do in our industry, right? So sometimes when I teach this class, I'm doing it as part of a self-care and wellness type workshop where we're doing some meditation and some breathing. And what I really do is focus on the self-care piece of this. And so I think it's equally as important for us. And the distinction I'm going to make between the two maps is this would be a map that you kind of try to follow every day, right? The vision of your ideal life is something you might look at over the course of a year, but this self-care map is really for every day. Like these are the important spokes of a well-balanced life: community, movement, nutrition, sleep, nature, meditation, water. So this is a map that kind of allows you to develop the habits on an everyday basis that will allow you to take better care of yourself. So these are the ones that I used for my outline. If you guys have other ones, feel free to title them, but this is a good baseline, right? Like under community, you would put volunteering, right? Under movement, walk 30 minutes a day. Under nutrition, do you want to become a vegan, right? Do you want to eat less sugar? Those kinds of things. Sleep, do you have a bedtime ritual, right? Do you take a bath before bed? I just actually did one of these for myself as well, which I'll go get and show you in a second. Nature, what are you doing to spend time and connect in nature? What does that look like for you? Is it every day? Is it every week? What's your ideal? What would you like it to be? Would you like to go for a hike once a week in the mountains, right? These are the dreams. Like, you need to dream this into existence.
Joanna, it's Melissa again. Can I ask a quick question?
Of course, yes, feel free. I love
on self-care, right, different than obviously the other one, what about if you want to take classes and things to help with that self-care? Would that be considered in this map or the other?
It could be in both, right?
Okay.
Like it could be part of your year goal, but when you're gonna, like, this would be one of the ones that you're gonna put in your day planner or your notebook, and you're gonna look at it every day,
Okay.
right? Because this is your way to check in on yourself. Like the ideal life one is the kind of one that you're going to hang on the bulletin board in your office, right? This one is going to be the thing you carry with you so you stay on track.
All right, gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Does that make sense to folks? And again, use different colors, make it creative. We'll talk a little bit more about how we express that in a moment. I'm going to go get one more example to show you, and I'll be right back.
Hey, Bobby, what are we going to have for dinner? We haven't had pasta in a while. Want pizza?
Okay, if I hold this up, you can see it. You can see it a little bit? Yes? This is my journal, right? I carry this with me. I have it by my bed. But what I want to show you is that right inside of it are clipped two things. Map I made for 2020, right? Just a map of, this is a simple one. Carry it with me.
Joanna, you have to unshare your old screen and then share the new one.
Okay, let me stop the share and I'll come back. Thank you. Okay, okay. All right, so this is the map I made for 2020. Right? So I have it clipped inside my journal so that I look at it. And then this is one that I've just recently been working on. This is a map that I did for my day.
Wow.
Right? So that I can look at my day and see, where am I? What am I doing? And some of this was because you guys are going to laugh at me, but like even yesterday when we were doing twice this week, it happened. Like the lady who was showing us the cupping, right, on your face, and the lady who was showing us the facelift with the moves, I was like, I need to do this before bed. But I'm never going to remember this. And I haven't really fully developed like a bedtime ritual. I have these other things like, they're called yoga toes. And because I'm a runner, I try to do them before bed. And you would think that because they're next to my bed, I would remember to do it every night, but I don't. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a little map. It's going to list out all these things that I want to do. I'm going to clip it inside of my journal, and the journal's right next to my bed because I've learned that if I worry in the middle of the night, I get up and I write it down, or if I have an idea, I write it down, then I don't forget it. So it's this way of building these habits and then creating them into reality. Erica, you're so funny. I didn't mean to freak you out with the day map.
Oh my God.
But I mean, you know, you're busy. I mean, we have kids, we have things we want to do. And, you know, all of this stuff that we are fed is about living our best life, living up to our potential, doing all of these things. And it's not that I don't want to feel pressured by the doing. I want to enjoy the doing. And these are all things that make me feel good. So I'm not overwhelmed by my day map, because if I think of it this way, there's 7 days in a week. If I do one thing from each category a day, I'm winning. Yeah. Right? It's better than having not written this down and not remembering never to put my yoga toes in. Because just as a small aside, I went to in this time of the coronavirus, 2 weeks ago, I went to a yoga workshop on just feet for 2 hours online. And by 9 o'clock that night, I was so sore, you would have thought I ran a marathon. And it was just from this whole concept of you build your body from the bottom up, and it was sore. And then I was like, okay, I got to do the yoga toes, but how am I going to remember that? So then I made this my day, but then it got into, all right, remember to take all your supplements in the morning. I mean, these are things that you guys are all doing this. I mean, I know you are. We all are. But I just figured out this way to organize it so I don't forget. And I'm sharing it with you.
That helps. Thank you. Do you do this with the kids too?
Yes, I do it with the boys. At New Year's, instead of resolutions, we do the mind maps, and then I hang them in their room. Like with this other trick I learned is, you know that painter's tape, right? The blue painter's tape that you mask off a room. You can hang anything in the kids' room with that blue tape. It doesn't ruin anything. So I hang these right next to their bed so they can see their maps, and they have learned that if they put what they want on their map, they get it. So it's helpful. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Where was I? This one. All right, so this is the self-care map. Do we feel like we're ready to move on, or do you want a few more minutes on this? We're good, okay.
I need a few more days.
Yeah.
Well, this will be your project for the rest of the week. Yeah.
I need another life.
Yes, I can't tell you how many GSN mind maps I have. All right, let's move to the next one. Why are we not going?
Maybe click.
Nope, I wonder if it's because I stopped. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. All right. Nope, frozen. Do it a different way.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So this is a work map, right? So this one is like in the center of the map. Like, what's your work function? What's your title? What's your career? And this could be one that you have right now, or one that you want, or one like the place that you're working from. Like, I love that Maggie has free agent in her, in parentheses next to her name. She sounds like a famous baseball player. But, you know, you could use that in the middle of this map, right? You could put free agent, and you could have the same spokes, or you could have the spokes that made sense to you in terms about how you wanted to develop that concept. But for the purposes of our conversation here, if you put entrepreneur in the middle, or if you put spa director in the middle, or you put designer in the middle, then you look at the spokes as admin, management, R&D, marketing, communication, ROI or financial. And then you start to say, what are these elements that help me develop my highest potential for this role that I'm playing? And again, you may see themes. And if you focus on how it is you want to be and the skills that you want to develop, right? And this becomes this way of thinking, you are creating this experience outside of yourself, which makes it so much more likely to happen. Because part of what we're doing is designing a life that we're walking into. We're walking into this life. We're imagining the best possible outcome and we're walking into it. And we have these little pieces of paper that we can hang up and use to remind us that we have the power. The power is ours. We have the power to create this.
Joanna, does work-life balance come into this category, or would it go into some friend?
I think it would come into this category and probably also the self-care category.
Okay. Okay.
So another way to use this work map would be for hiring somebody. Say you wanted to hire an assistant and you weren't sure what role you wanted, all the things that you wanted them to do. This would be a really great way to map out how you would use that person. So you would put in the middle, my assistant, and then you would spoke out the big categories of that person's job. And then you would twig out the smaller details. And in a short time, you would have had your job description completely written. Because what you're doing when you're doing this work is you're integrating your right and left brain, right? So you're utilizing the full power of your brain instead of one side. When we sit at our computers and type something, we're just using the left side of our brain. We are not using the right side of our brain. When we take an approach to problem solving with a tool like this, you're integrating both sides of your brain.
If I could add, this could be a really great tool as some spas that are reopening need to kind of reimagine their team and their staffs and redefining roles and stuff. This could be a really great tool to help do that.
Whoops, I skipped ahead. Yes, and Maggie, that's a really good point, because what a spa director could do is they could bring everyone into this process, right? And give their entire, like, take your team of massage therapists, say, here's the problem, or here's the thing we want to brainstorm, which is how do we manage the massage department? What are your ideas? And teach them this way of thinking, and then they can share and you can make a master. It's like what I said, once you learn how to do this, you don't unlearn it. And then you start to see patterns in how you think and how what you put out there creates your existence. All right, I'm going to go to the next. Okay, so do we have any more questions on the mapping? Any more questions? All right, because now we're going to go to the next part. Now we're going to go to collage and visioning. So what I also like to do, and I don't have any examples of them with me because they're in Nantucket and not in Lenox. And you're not going to do this today. You're going to do this on your own time. Is you're going to create a collage on the back of your mind map, right? So once you have that concept of your perfect life, right, your ideal vision, you're going to go through a stack of magazines some night when you're watching TV, and you're going to make a pile of, yes, I like this, it supports my vision, and then you're just going to collage the back of your map. And there's one other technique we'll talk about. So it could be pictures of beaches. It could be pictures of the house that you want to buy. You want to see yourself. It could be a dress that you want. It could be anything that represents the words that are on the front of your map, right? Because now we're moving into the active visualization piece of designing your perfect life. Right? So when you have that visual, you're really much more able to walk into it. Because that's our goal. We're walking into this life. All right. Oh, no, other way. Very important part. This is how you use the map. Everybody has a so we're going to talk about meditation portals, right? And you're going to build one into your collage. I happen to like the eye, right? So you're going to find your portal when you're collaging. So I'm not really going to tell you what it is. It's going to be different for everybody, but I'll give you some examples. So when you're going through the magazines, your portal is going to be something that catches your attention that is unexpected. Okay? So it could be an eye, it could be an animal, it could be a door. It's something that's going to take you someplace else. So you're looking for this sign, like as you're doing the ripping of the collages. And this part of the process is actually pretty important because you don't want to overthink it. So here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to go through a magazine and rip out one page at a time and glue it on the back of the thing. That's not how this works. That's like a kid art project. This is a different experience. You're going to go through the magazines all at once, like get 4 or 5. You're going to rip out the whole page of something that you see and you're going to put it aside. Okay? And when you find your portal, you'll know. And your portal will go, when you glue this all together, it's not going to be neat, right? And you're going to glue it in a clockwise fashion. And your portal will be the way that you enter your collage in this future life that you are visioning and manifesting. So now we've spent time designing the perfect life. We've got all the words out there and the steps, right? We know that on the back of it, we're going to do this collage process. We're going to identify our meditation portal. And then and we're going to make this collage, which is going to include pictures that represent pieces that are on the map. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to make it in a clockwise fashion, and your portal's going to be in the middle.
Joanna.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
About the vision board and the collage. Is there a purpose to looking through magazines and then spotting something that makes you feel a certain way, or like, is it weird to Google an image that exactly what you want and then like print that out because it's the exact picture you want? Is there a reason why like we would flip through a magazine versus finding what we want?
Yes. That's a great question, because if you Google a picture that you want and print it out, you are completely in your left brain. And that is not what we're doing, okay. Right? We are manifesting this through our unconscious. And you want to let your unconscious lead the way, right? So this is about integrating that, right? Your intuition is leading you to your ideal life. And we're sharpening that skill by doing this exercise. Right. And there's nothing wrong with what you just said at all. That's very much what we have been taught, right? In very conventional type of thinking. And what we're doing is we're harnessing the power that we have inside of ourselves to create our own destiny and manifest the things that we want in our life. And to do that, we've got to get out of that left brain and into the right brain and tap into our inner selves. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people use like Pinterest for their vision board, but I see that also as like typing in what you want.
Yeah, no, this is really an experience of how can I train my brain to seek out what I want and make it happen, right? And the portal piece, way of entering into this, and the clockwise piece is a way of following through, right? So once you have all this done, again, you're going to hang this up, and like once a week or so, you're basically going to do some breathing, like meditation style breathing, and you're going to look at the portal, right? And you're going to look into the portal, and that's going to lead you, right? And that's going to be part of your meditation. If you do this for 5 or 10 minutes a week, you will manifest all the things on your map.
Someone's asking, Kathleen, pictures or can you use words?
You can use both words and pictures. There's one other really fun thing you can do with this. Like if you are doing this with a friend, okay, and this is fun to do with a friend, right? And you're gonna get these slides. So you'll have a back, you can do this, you can share this, right? This needs to go out into the world. So if you do this with a friend, you can each choose 3 pictures for each other to include on the collage. It's super fun. It could be 3 pictures or 3 words.
Maggie is asking if you could pull up your collage again.
Which one?
Maggie, do you mean her slide with the photos?
Yeah, the slide, just so I can see visually what you're talking about in the, with the portal, your portal, and then the clockwise.
Right. So in this one, the Buddha's the portal.
Okay.
Right. And then California, right, you go around.
Okay.
Make sense?
It sure does. Thanks.
Okay. We'll move on. Does anybody have any more questions about the meditation portal?
I have one question.
Okay.
Are you saying that, to be clear, that the
Yeah.
meditation portal will have whatever it is in the center, it will eventually be our collage, and then the collage is what we're looking at and focusing on, or are they 2 separate? Do we keep the, I think I got confused there. Do
Okay.
we keep the meditation portal with, let's say, the eye or the door, or whatever it is that's in the middle? That's where we start, and then the collage gets created from that, and then we use that as the portal, or do we always use the
No.
other, which are 2 separate entities?
They're 2 separate things.
Okay,
So
good.
when you first start to go through the magazines, the first thing you're going to look for is the portal, and it will come to you. All
Okay.
you're going to have in your head is, I'm flipping through these magazines. This is a stream of consciousness activity. I'm going to find my portal. Great. You found your portal. Then you're going to go through the magazines, and you're going to have, before you do that, you're going to look at the front of your mind. You're going to look at all these things that you wrote down that you want to manifest, right? And so then you're going to go through the magazines and pull pictures, stream of consciousness, of images that support that map. Then you build the collage clockwise around the portal.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Everybody else good? We ready to go to the next? Okay. So then we're on to manifestation, right? So this is the outcome of having done this work. We are creating what it is we want in our lives. We're taking back our personal authority. We are taking responsibility, and we are putting the energy out about what it is we want to create. Whether it is in that perfect life map, or in the self-care map, or in the work map, right? We're in charge of this. We're manifesting the outcomes. I think that's it, yes. So we're going to do a couple of last things. Any last questions? Anybody?
Joanna, if I could just add something to back up your argument.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everybody know that there's so much research showing that the brain actually doesn't know the difference between physically practicing something and visualizing it in your mind. They use it a lot with athletes. So I don't know if you've already mentioned that. I may have missed it, but it's just, there's so much research backing that up. So just a little encouragement to actually meditate and follow through with this. Yeah.
It's true. So, I mean, I'll add to that, which is where we're going to go next. So good segue is, we all do workouts, right? How? Because why? We want to make ourselves stronger, better, have more endurance, more resilience, boost our immunity, all of those things. Well, meditation is the exact same thing. We are basically flexing the hypothalamus, right? It's like, it's a muscle and it needs to be worked just like any other muscle. And people get overwhelmed by meditation, right? And really, if you meditate as 5 minutes a day, the benefits to your health are huge. Now that's over here on the left brain side, right? If you meditate and you focus on the right brain side, or what we're doing, trying to integrate the two, and you have your portal and you're going in and you're dreaming this into existence, right? That is so powerful, right? So, so powerful. So I think we have like 12 minutes left. I would love to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is that okay? You guys can, we recorded this and you can have my slides. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. What I'd love to do is a little bit of breathing. Is everybody down with that if we do a little bit of breathing? Okay. So most of you know that I have been working with Michaela, who has taught me how to do these, what she calls 4-part breath, right? So I'm going to teach you this so that you can do this when you're entering into your portal. It's really simple, all right? And then I'll do it and we'll count it, okay? Hi, Charlie. I see you. Right, so everybody get comfortable, right? Get comfortable in your chair, right? This is not something that you have to do lying down, right? So we're just going to take and center ourselves a little bit. We're going to roll our shoulders backwards, right? Now we're going to roll our shoulders forward. We're going to squish them up, let them down, squish them up, let them down. And now the 4-part breath is a breath in, a hold for 4 counts at the top, a sigh out, and then a hold and a pulse. So when you're holding it on empty, what you're doing is you're pulsing your belly button to your spine, okay? And you have no breath in your body and you're pulsing your belly button to your spine and you're focusing on that, on the empty breath. And then you do like 4 to 5 cycles of this. We're gonna do this, it's gonna take like 5 or 6 minutes, and then we're gonna over-oxygenate. And this is exactly the kind of breath work that you can do to enter into your portal and create this, okay? So you can do this really easily and you can learn it and just keep count. Eventually you would do it for 6 counts or 8 counts or 10 counts, like you grow with the counting. But tonight we're just gonna do 4 and move to 6, okay? So I'm just gonna do 1 round and then we'll really start. So it's a deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4. A hold at the top, right? We're full of breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh all the way out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're empty, and this is when you press your belly button to your spine. So pulse, 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 pulse. And the other thing I like to do when I'm doing this is I think about the breath in as the effort. And I think about the sigh out as receiving grace, right? So as we're moving into creating this, manifesting this dream that we have of our ideal life, what we're doing is we're making an effort and then we're receiving grace. All right, so here we go. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh all the way out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pulse, 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 pulse. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 2, 3, 4. Sigh all the way out. Now hold on empty and pulse, 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 pulse. Take a deep breath in. We're going to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Sigh all the way out. You're receiving grace. 4, 5, 6. Now pulse, 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 pulse. Take a deep breath in and hold. Sigh all the way out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now hold on empty and pulse, 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 pulse. Take a deep breath in. Your effort. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hold at the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just sigh all the way out. You're receiving grace. And now you're going to pulse on empty. Pulse, 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 pulse. Take a deep breath in. Okay, now we're going to do one more thing. All right, now we're going to do a really quick oxygenation breath, right? You're going to do it to the beat. So in, out, in, out, in, out. Create something from nothing. Effort, grace, effort, grace. In, out. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Take a deep breath in. Sigh all the way out. Now you are prepared to go in through your portal and create your dream. All right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That was really fun. Does anybody have any more questions? Can I answer?
That was awesome, Joanna.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was fun.
We need another hour.
Yeah. I expect to see some maps on that brick wall. All right. Anything else? Thank you guys all for joining us today. Look at that, Bill. All right. Does anybody want to show the maps? I'd love to see some. Nice job.
Be sure to talk while you're showing it. So we can say hello. There's Jessica's.
All right. Wow. All right. That's awesome. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. See, even virtually, we can all come together and enjoy each other and do something creative and fun. And thank you all for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at the workout at 10 o'clock and at noon for our 4th day of presentations.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.